I thought the volume was down or something, and so that means I'll have to start from again. So it's cool. It's for you guys, right? So we were all actually looking at SEC, right? The document is out. SEC is there. The no action letter is out. We are not actually looking to hype up the space. Instead, what we would like to check is what it really means. As an XRP investor, what it really means for us. The no action letter, in that one they actually states the clearance for alternative trading systems. So whenever you see ATS here, they're mentioning the alternate trading services, and here they actually kind of gives the detail about this and how they are looking at the trades, right? So first we have to understand what is a no action letter from SEC. From SEC, based on their description, this is kind of the background, which say for example I am a crypto company and I'm coming in to provide a crypto service or any other something which is needing regulation, and the concerned regulatory authority should be SEC. So in this aspect, in order to get a clarity, as there is no regulation, I would write to SEC, right? And this is a letter written by the staff of SEC to showcase, say if I am requesting something stating that fact A, B, C, D, I'm actually following these steps to provide a service like these. So they will actually give me a letter in which they will state whether it's okay or not to proceed. Now, even though it is, at the bottom they will always say that this can actually change at any time. In addition, the SEC staff reserves the right to change the positions reflected in prior no action letters. So that's kind of something which has to be understood there. So in this manner, now they are highlighting here in the SEC no action letter, so response that based on the facts provided here. So the fact one is this: the broker dealer operator maintains a minimum of 250,000 in net capital. Then the arrangement between broker dealer operator and its customer clearly state that the settling side of that is not their responsibility, meaning, and in their own words, that the broker dealer operator does not guarantee or otherwise have responsibility for settling these trades. Now they allow them to do what? The trading of digital asset security. So now that is a bit more clear here. What? Even if it is being classified as security, it should be able to be traded. Now it's not only that they are only talking about digital asset security here, because they also mentions digital asset directly here. Now if you go into the search of this one and say put digital assets, you can actually get two types. They are talking about the digital asset securities mainly because this is actually concentrating on the securities, because SEC is more concentrated on this area. So now when you talk about the general system, you understand that this is in. Now this is in means now that's kind of a bit of a green light for majority of the institutions who don't have clarity. Previously it was only for BTC and Ether which they gave a bit of clarity, right? Now here if you can look up to, but not limited to so-called virtual currencies, coins, tokens, digital asset may or may not meet the definition of a security under federal securities law. For this purpose, for the purpose of this no action letter, a digital asset that is not a security is referred to as non-security digital asset, and the other one is digital asset security. So what really matters is what they say about the digital asset security. So at the bottom, as we just saw, they talk about this one precisely. So even if they are going to classify it as digital asset security, now the alternative trading service can be pushed on. Now that's actually a good news. Now this just is not, that's not a small thing, but still it's not that kind of a huge area where you can say that tomorrow everything is going to go up. Now yes, what I would like to take you guys is like just give you guys a just idea about what we will be going through. First we have to understand, now guys, if there is a sound issue and others not in that manner, I have a bit of cold, so if the sound is a bit not clear, do let me know in that. I'll try to make it slow, make it clear, so that whatever I'm conveying here, it's valuable for you guys, because there is a lot of documents through which I would like to take you guys today. Now, different aspects of this all gets connected with what the world of payments, and this would be going through different valuable or reputable areas, like say American Express, or different banks, different organizations, different research institutions putting out their content for this research. Now we'll actually go through all of these, because it actually will be giving us an idea about what really is happening. Now, I'm someone based on this background, say not the particular topic of this, but the research and writing. Now I can understand how much work they have put behind this and the value of this one, because these would be actually funded if you actually go, not, I don't know whether these authors have done that, but usually whenever the funders who is funding for this research would be mentioned at the bottom of the paper. Now that's a long paper, right? Yeah, at the bottom, if they have put that one in acknowledgement. Now I think they haven't. So if they actually had did that, it would have been easy for us to understand who is funding this research, for what they're actually doing that. So that's really important to understand at that point. But if we come back to the abstract of this one, it would be, kind of a different manner. First here, they would be giving you the background, then the research gap of previous literatures, and then what they are implementing, like their methodology. And then at the bottom, it comes about the findings. So the interledger approaches discussed in this survey include atomic cross-chain transactions, transaction across a network of payment channels, W3C interledger protocol, bridging side chains and ledgers of ledgers, and other stuff. So what really is happening here? We are all looking at something which is needed in this blockchain era, right? Why it is necessary? Because we already saw that without that one, it won't actually work. And two organizations are actually competing this space. We can say Quant, which is the overledger from them, and Ripple providing the interledger protocol. Now we can see that it took 5 years for Ripple, the company, to bring in the amount of partnership which they have right now. But with just one partnership of SIA, Quant actually went through 570 banks. Now, in terms of the numbers stated, it would sound huge for Quant. Now, I'm not making that small, but personally, I would say the benefit of the first comer is one thing, but the important thing for ILP and Ripple is it has been used or been familiarized with, I don't know even that's a word. It's now for central banks and giant institutions and regulators. ILP is a familiar stuff when they talk about interoperability, and they have already mentioned Ripple's ILP in many of their released publications, reports, research publication, and other stuff from central bank to corporate giants. So why is that so important? Because now we can understand, as of now, till now it was like exchanges were being used to communicate between fiat and digital assets. But now we are looking at a different area, right? We are looking at how fiat can directly be changed into a digital asset without using an exchange, meaning banks are being allowed the permission to do that. So this is the reason why interledger is being so important. Now whenever you go through different documents, you can see hyperledger, R3, W3C, and other stuffs, and understand all of this would be coming towards ILP, which is a DLT set there to bridge all the financial system for payments. And in payments, important thing is what? The standard is what? Instantaneous settlement. So what are we actually looking at? These are all different stuffs from different areas to understand what really is happening here. What are they looking at? Now these are projects between central banks. Stella, we actually went through this document before, but for this one we would just like to show you this one. experiment with and without ILP. It's not with overledger, it's with interledger. You have to understand that. And it's not just one central bank doing that one to understand the benefit. And at the bottom, in that conclusion, we went through that once previously. They highlight that crystal clear that this has the ability to change the entire system. So that's what they state in the summary. Now in that one, you should also understand all of these documents suggest one thing. Now, yeah, I actually downloaded that one. I think it was in the downloads. Okay, anyway, because it's not only that document, we have actually a lot of different reports which talk about these use cases of blockchain DLT technology and how this should be implemented, because we have different ledgers and the cross ledger communication has to be established in a way that it should be under the regulations. Regulators should not come next day and say you have to stop it here, right? That's one aspect. Now these are all the fundamental area where we see that. Then comes the ISO standard, right? When ISO is coming out there and stating it has to be clear, it has to be this way, the standard is this for the world's trade, generally, then you should be looking at ISO website and you kind of get to understand that ILP is mentioned as an interoperability layer in ISO website itself. Now, different projects, say this is a different project from UNECE, so they talk about different aspects, and when they talk about money going through different in the financial inclusion side, different cross ledger minimizing the price, they again mentions interledger protocol. Is there any other project being mentioned like this by the organizations like World Bank, United Nations, IMF, BIS and all? No, we can't actually see anything for now. So if you look at the price of this asset and say, no, the price is still not going anyway, take a moment, take a break and understand. Price doesn't always reflect the actual value of that asset. If it did, then there is no opportunity for guys like us to take profit of that. Now we are here to take profit, and that means we need an asset for which the price is low and the value is high. Now here is that, you have it here, right? You're looking up to that one. Now if you can't understand this at that point, if you're trading the market, that's a different story. You don't actually care about the fundamentals. You're just a trader. You're looking at the short-term fluctuations, candlestick patterns to take benefit or make profit. But if you're a long-term investor, what you should be looking at is the fundamentals, then the long-term trend and pattern. Now, in this episode, we'll actually give you guys some highlight about that, the long and short-term view. So if you're a trader or an investor, it would be helpful for you guys too, right? Now, yesterday was actually a green day, so don't expect everything is going in green every day until you get that FOMO madness entering into the crypto space. Now, that's the technical side of it too, right? Now, if we actually jump in to the first document, first Chrome page I actually meant, we have some information here. And I would actually like to play these for you guys, because this would kind of lay that foundation here to understand whatever we are going through today, because this kind of serves as, the regulatory side, the clarity, the adoption, and why it is important to understand that. Now, I actually opened and closed that. I forgot to keep it open here because I was using a different module here. Now, in that one too, when we talk about this, you have to understand whenever they are talking about this, we have to see the future. The standard now back then was Swift, and it's being used till now. We actually went through this document once in before, but I would just like to highlight one slide from this page as we go through different informations here, right? So we'll actually go through the SEC's letter we actually went through, then we have some updates talking about different aspects, and then you can make money day trading, but you should be having that kind of expertise in that before you start making money. Otherwise, there are chances that you can get lucky at the starting, but afterwards you may lose money. But that being said, there are guys who really make tons of money on day trading, but it's not small amount. They would be entering the market with huge capital so that they can enter into positions, giant positions, with low risk. If the risk is high, yes, the reward is high, but you may actually burst your account instantly. And now we are entering into that area. And this news, say 2 or 5 guys are making money, and the news kind of spread like a wildfire that you can day trade and make money like. But that doesn't happen, right? We all understand that if you have experience trading, it's patience. Stock market or trading this area is this kind of a market where money is transferred from impatient guys to patient guys who trade that market. And now it is going to enter into that area where you see a lot of opportunity. Now, this is from XRP Arcade, and what I would like to highlight is, along with all the other fundamentals we are talking about, this does matter because XRP ecosystem is not a small ecosystem. Now, if you look at the entire institutions using this, you can see one thing, what we just talked about. The value of the asset is so huge. We can't even describe how it should be, how much it should be, based on the rate of adoption, based on how they have implemented, based on the reach of the company and its infrastructure, right? That's critically important. We can't actually deny that one. So if you look at these, all of these guys working behind the screen for this particular ecosystem, we can't say they are mad. Now, do understand they all keep a bag of XRP and they all understand this is the future. It doesn't mean you're going to get rich tomorrow, but it means you have an asset which would be worth tons after some time. But the question is, will you be able to hold it till that time? You can actually answer yourself because, being frank, I can actually inform you guys, when I entered the space, I was thinking like it would be taking 1 to 1.5 years when the market was rising and dropping a bit. But that was actually the area where the price was showing that distributional phase and start of a bear market. So that's kind of has to be understood. Now is asking, are we close to a verdict on the lawsuit soon? Now, based on this no action letter, I will say that those no action letters should be kept aside, closed inside a box, because that doesn't actually have to go through with all of these clarifications made by SEC itself. Because previously, SEC guys itself highlighted, when even if an asset was a security when issued and it evolved from there to a utility side, now that's not a security. But for XRP, it was designed as a payment mechanism and it is being implemented as a payment mechanism, a bridging asset. So, that never gets anything there. That's not only what I'm saying, that's the information on the public domain, right? Now, when we look at the rumors on Ripple accusations, yes, we previously heard it from Brad Garlinghouse itself that when the economy gets volatile, companies need money, funding and all, and you have a company like Ripple which is being listed in top 50 in the world from Forbes and all, and they get funders easily. For them, getting funding is not that a huge problem, so they kind of solve that issue easily, right? So if they get funding and there are institutions who does the payment which are at the verge of bankruptcy, or even they are not in profitable mode, it can be acquired by Ripple, the company, and put into a new infrastructure, which enables them the increase of number of nodes in that network, meaning a lot of new customers. I don't know, been a month now or so, been stacking algo. Yeah, Algorand is something good for trading as well. We actually see that in different portfolios while discussing with my Patreon members. Different guys have different assets, but yeah, I've seen algo and we have went through the technical analysis for that stuff too. Now, before we actually go through and discuss about this, as I told, I'll just play this one now.
Yeah, so I don't know where to start, right? But to keep it very short, I think we are seeing a huge polarization, right? So we see an increased localization of economies due to supply chain issues, We see a heightened nationalism as nation states look to blame each other, right? And the potential for humanity to come together after this crisis to solve important problems, should be higher than ever before. But that's not what we're seeing, right? So on the macro level, we are seeing that people are printing money like mad, right? We are seeing we might go into some kind of a big recession, right? And I think the only thing that keeps us together really is it's a common belief in the dollar, right? But it's not like we believe in the dollar in terms of what the dollar really represents. We believe in the dollar rails. We believe in how the dollar rails allows us to communicate in global trade. But I think if we would ever agree on a new reserve currency worldwide, it would most likely be a cryptocurrency, and it would most likely be a currency where there's a very high transparency and there is much more equality in terms of that not just one nation state can go in and change the rules of the game.
Now guys, that's a simple explanation in which you can get a lot of things. One, if the world agrees on a reserve currency, it would be a cryptocurrency. Okay, agreed. Now something similar was stated by Judy Shelton previously. If we are going on back to gold standard, it would be like gold standard in a cryptocurrency way. I hope you guys remember that. Then the next thing which is important is like transparency. How much transparency do different cryptocurrency projects actually offer on what they do with the asset, how much they hold, how much they sell? No one actually gives that, but Ripple does. They were transparent from the beginning till now. Hope it should be like that in the future too. And looking at those aspects, it do show that we are entering into that chain of reserve currency. Now when we say that, it doesn't mean every central bank is going to adopt XRP and use it. As you can see, here is being asked. Boston Fed is working directly with Algorand and now Tether USDC on the blockchain. So that's actually good news if you look at that. Because they would be going on to one asset. Say UK goes in one, US goes in another, and you get something mixed up, mashed up potato like that in the world of blockchain central banking. Now they all have to communicate with each other. You have different options. You'll go for something which is the best and which is always transparent. So once you get in, you already know what is existing, what would be coming out, how you can handle that, and those kind of stuff. And that is the reason why we say XRP would be having that shakers. Now, how will the whales shake us out for crypto? Will the price be going up soon? Now, okay, in order to answer that, I will actually go back to the charts. If you actually look at the charts, okay, for that one, I would actually will have to open a new XRP chart itself, because others are actually patterns which are actually drawn to explain something to you guys based on patterns, trends, and what we can expect in the near term, right? So if you look at XRP here, what you really understand is that it is traveling in a trend. Okay, that's cool. But when you zoom out, look at the same on a monthly chart, which is the longest time frame available here, which would be mostly used by institutions. It is still at the bottom in the MACD, just crossing there. And as it crosses, you have to understand the bull run has not even started. Now, looking at the price, we all agrees about that, right? But what happens when a bull run comes in? You see a rise in price in next 5 days. Say for example, this is a monthly chart. So assume you get to see 1000% in 30 days. What will you actually do? You get to see 8000% in 90 days. Will you still be there taking those profits? I don't think so. Not everyone would be there, because if they were, majority of the XRP investors back in 2017 should be millionaires or billionaires based on the price fluctuation. Now that is what you need to understand, that you have to stay here patiently, and to be like that, you need the actual information. Now, why would the whales actually shake you down? one thing whales understand here in this market is, say, it is an asset, right? It's not like forex or other stuff where if they push to a extent, they'll kick out all the stop loss. Now yes, those who are leveraged would lose that war, but this is an asset. You bought it now, say like gold or a plot of land. You bought it now, the price is going down. You'll say, dash you, I don't care, I'll only sell when the price goes up. So that means the whales can only do one thing. Now, when the price goes up, they have to manipulate that markup or bull run in such a way that you would be tempted to take your profits early, and then they will pump it sky high. Then you will think, oh, I just missed, I shouldn't have taken the profit there, and you would then go back, rebuy that. Then they'll dump that on you. So now the question kind of is simply answered, meaning if you are someone who's looking for the maximum profit, you should be the most patient guy in the room. Otherwise, you should be able to look at patterns and see how it varies. Why? In a distribution phase, you can see this happens, like it went up. Now, in order to clearly understand that, you can actually go into a weekly chart or a daily chart in which it kind of gives you a confirmation that it really was a mark up and then a distribution phase, which always happens in a market. Now, in this distribution phase, however, the difference is from this peak, it actually went up another 1000%, around 800%. That's, huge, because you already went around 8000% from that bottom till there, and then you went to the upside again 800%. So guys who saw this rise and missed this rise, who entered this one, would be thinking, yeah, I went 8000 there, maybe we'll get 4000 here, and they would be stuck somewhere here, right? But at the same time, the whales would be dumping that on the buyers at that time, so you would be stuck there. Now that was the case back then. What can be happening now? Now the price is at the bottom, right? They can't actually push the price to the downside to make you lose, because you won't lose that war in that meaning. Even if it come down, if you are not in leverage position, they can't kick your stop losses. So the stop loss hunting is kind of over. But at the same time, if you look at the market cycle, it is actually prepared already to go to the upside. Why I say so, if you come to XRP chart and look at this particular pattern in which the MACD is showing positive sense from here, that's March, but the RSI is showing it from last year, say December of last year, from this area to this area. If you have been concentrating on this one, you would have understood there was a divergence or buyer's strength in the market, which was kind of the positive area there, and that edge gave the pump like small one, and again, so next one how it should be looking at. And that's why I would like to show you guys this one, AV or lent. It also, now this is a 4-hour time frame chart in order to get that clarity for you guys, or if we go into a daily chart, it would be looking something like this. But still, it's actually clear that it was making a similar pattern and then moving to the upside, and before the move to the upside, it went there, it tried that resistance, and then was getting congested between that resistance and the support, rising support of that rounded bottom. From there, it was like a story. You should be looking at that. If you didn't understand, you should be, because it actually went sky high, sky high, sky high. You see that? So what are we really looking at for XRP? Something similar, but maybe on steroids. We can say that a bull similar to that here in that pattern, but based on the number of investors, adopters, adoption, news and all which would be coming out at that time too, would increase the addition of this bull runs. That's why it's told this time it would be bulls on steroids. Why? Because now we see positive news and the market is going down, so no one actually want to buy in again and again. But when the price is moving up and you get good news, that kind of increases the rate of FOMO entering into the market. And it's not only from the retail side, it will also be from the general market there. Investors, institutions, giant money, everything would be coming in together. Now let's see, is there any other stuff, questions or something? Should be looking for buy more. No sound. This guy's dumb. Thank you, Justin. Thank you. I was wondering if I may ask you, what do you hold in your portfolio? Like, if it's in my crypto portfolio, majority is actually XRP. You can see around 90%, 89 point something, 90% is XRP, and then the others, like I have a little quant, XDC, XLM, those stuff which will be huge in payment market and getting a bit of share in the payment market. Like, say there are other assets which have that fundamentals, but not like XRP, say Cardano, ADA. That's actually a good one for holding, say, medium to long term. Now, medium for me will be 3 to 5 years, and long term would be 5 to 10 years, and up, say 15 years and all. So in that area, when we see all of these kind of adoptions, that really means that this bull this time would be on steroids. Now let's actually go through the information which we wanted to share, right? So the next one is this one, because it shows Ripple is going to be Amazon on steroids. Wow. So if the next bull run is going to be on steroids and you're going to get information like this, it's going to be that, the big bang of bull run soon. So let's play this one. Before that,
that's come out of this whole space. It's the idea that we can design financial systems that operate in a decentralized way. So when we look at the financial system at large today, it is run in a balkanized methodology. There are different systems running by different operators in different countries, and there is no coherent standard to unify all of the payment systems for settlement. Now, certainly there are standards for messaging and rules and compliance, but there is no global ledger on top of which we can build an entirely new infrastructure. I think the idea of what we mean by the Internet of Money is that anything of value can be made liquid to any other thing of value in real time, cross payment systems on anywhere in the planet. So ultimately, in our vision, we would like to be able to see anybody in one network transmit value to any other network, cross asset in real time as easily as sending an email.
Wow. So you see this as a positive development for?
We see this as tremendously positive, and not just positive certainly for us as the creators of the system, but I mean for the incumbent infrastructure as well, the incumbent players, the asset custodians.
So just looking at that one, they are talking about a universal ledger in which it could be able to move anything of value to another anything of value. So what that really does mean is Internet of Value, right? In a bridge manner. So a bridge asset which should be neutral, which should have that ability to push it to other side, right? The value from one ledger has to be moved into another one. Thoughts on Apple working with Ripple? Guys, if you actually look at Ripple's swell last year, it's certainly clear, and along with that statement made from David Joss in a YouTube video, that we have giant players working with us, but we haven't announced them yet, which is standing on same line to that announcement which they made on Swell. They stated we have this much number of customers working with us, where there is no non-disclosure agreement as of now. But after which they stated that 50% of their customers are still unannounced. Why? Because of the non-disclosure agreements. So if you combine these NDAs and the statement from David Shaw that huge players in the market are with us, but we are not ready yet to announce, or at least they are not ready to announce it yet. So who are these huge guys? If you look at patents which they are actually trying to prepare the infrastructure to adopt this new system, you can understand, yes, that is a new one. Why? Apple does already have the payment mechanism, Apple Pay. If you look at Google, they have Google Pay. So in that same manner, there are different guys who are doing this stuff, right? So if you look at that, they all would be behind the screens working with Ripple, the company, especially on interledger protocol, how they can move value from one ledger, which is say Google Pay, towards Apple Pay or vice versa. So in that aspect, I would say it's already, being cooked in the background. You can say the cake is actually baked, but it's, inside the freezer until, these kind of guys push that regulatory clarity into the outside thin air. But now we can see that the clarity of regulations are coming out. The flow is positive now. I think the Apple is expanding its product line into payments. We already know XRP is capable. Yeah, I actually agree with that. Said when the price goes up, we wouldn't have to worry about selling for profit. Now, yeah, I've been saying that in my comments as well. For those guys who are, completely thinking about that one, maybe they are correct, but I'll lay down my perspective. In my perspective, say you hold XRP, it's like an asset. The digital, you can say not digital gold, but it's much more than that, say digital diamond. So if the world is coming into a digital currency era, where central banks are putting out their own central bank digital currencies or something similar to that, you can actually buy stuff with XRP. It's cool, I agree. You can just go put it into an exchange which gives you a Visa or MasterCard card to use those XRP for purchases. That's actually cool, that's actually good. But that's still again changing XRP from the value of XRP towards dollar, euro, yen, or wherever you reside, depending on the fiat currencies of that geographical region, right? So it's again taking profit. But in that sense, if you are doing that, what you should be looking at, you should be looking to maximize your purchasing power. So that means when the price of XRP in that particular fiat currency is high, you should keep something out, take something out. So that is profit taking, right? Why? Because anyway, you're going to send it in fiat currency. If the price of XRP goes down in that fiat currency, your purchasing power goes down. That's the term when I say profit taking should be there. It's not like taking your entire portfolio outside. Take 2%, 5%, 10% when the price is going to the upside, right? Now that's my perspective. I don't know how many of you guys agree with me on that one. Because if we are going to use the central bank digital currencies, then XRP is still a bridge, a medium of exchange there. That's the internet of value. So what we can say on that one is profit taking should be there. Because if you don't take your profit, someone else will take that. Always understand, in trading, a stock market, or whatever you call this thing, it is transferring money from one guy to another. If you are losing money, someone else is winning that. So do you want to lose your money to someone else? No, right? No one want to actually do that. Now the positive stuff about this particular chart is we are bouncing from this top, and this is a 3-day chart. We saw that XRP on a daily chart showed us that momentum, and 2 days back we called it out here when that candle was not even closed there. But when we crossed the 50% mark of this red candle, we understood that this is a 2-candle reversal pattern which we are getting at a support, which really meant a lot. And then we went into this moving average zone of this one is a 9-day and 20-day moving average, which is closely following the price on a shorter time frame, right? That's exponential moving average actually. So those one which you get there, if the price is moving above that one, it's positive. Now to show that one, I have actually taken out a Heikin-Ashi chart here, which shows you again on that support resistance area, price is bouncing to the upside. It's not actually going below, faking out towards the bearish zone. Instead, from the same support resistance area, you can see the price is going to the upside. That's not actually a bad stuff, right? And look at the MACD. It crossed to the downside first, but with this bounce, it's crossing to the upside again. Now, why we use Heikin-Ashi chart? Now, for me, I use Heikin-Ashi chart to reduce the amount of volatility, fluctuation, reduce the confusion, and get a clear picture of where the momentum is headed. So, for example, just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many red candles are there before a green, or vice versa? How many green candles are there, and then how many red are there? If you count that, you'll see the momentum. Now that's on a daily chart. You can put it in a different perspective. If you're trading, you can use it in 4-hour, 12-hour, 2-hour, depending upon how you trade. Now for that one, recently we were actually discussing with our Patreon members, and I told this is actually a useful tool. You can go to YouTube, check about Heikin-Ashi trading. It actually gives you some more information about how to use these indicators along with moving averages to use Heikinashi if you are trading this market. Now, is there any other question? Please give us what is Apple relations. Basically, this is about. Yep, I agree. Brad will talk about them. It's not good if XRP is backed by anything. So I missed a question. Do you think XRP will be backed up by gold or silver? No, brother. Personally, I don't actually think so, because now someone else can come and build a new token on XRP ledger, which would be backed by something. But as of now, XRP is not backed by that, and it's XRP ledger is an open source technology. So, at least Ripple, the company, has no plan to do that. Why? Because they believe that the underlying technology of this asset itself is the value for that one. So that's cool. I don't actually personally think that. Now, if you believe that, and you have the reason to believe that, then completely up to you, buddy. But, this is my perspective, in which I personally don't see that happening. Now, yeah, something can go wrong. The world will be tilted upside down. It may happen. But as of now, I actually don't. What is this? The Apple and Ripple partnership is from Zeta News. Fucking it. Yeah, it may be. But, the ILP, which is being used by them, Amazon, Web Service and all, we previously shared it here, right? So, it's actually cool. We have to just understand that patience is needed. Because if you, again, talk about the XRP, how much rich those guys who held on to XRP last market cycle got, you really have to understand how patient they were. Because as we can understand, the bottom was here and the top was here, right? And that's like 1288 days. And if you look at that one, now there are a lot more people in the market than last time, and we are around 986 days from the top. Now if you look at the bottom, it's here. If you take that bottom from here, which is this one, then lay out that 1200 days, we are moving back towards 2022, that area, right? So patience is something huge. I'm not saying it would go towards that side, but looking at different indicators of the market, it would be by end of this year, or it should be the first quarter of 2021. Now there are also 10% or 5% chance that it may get extended, but looking at the price fluctuation and the market cycle itself, without those patterns, it shows us that the market cycle is turning and the market is ready for a run. Now that's kind of having different scenarios in different coins, but generally we are preparing here. If you zoom in and look at that, we understand that's a rounded bottom for which we are looking at, which would be getting that pump here. And I explained about the MACD and RSI previously, right? Now if you zoom in on XRP and look at this one, it's a photo chart in which you can actually see that we are making a wedge like this. Say this is a widening descending wedge or a descending widening wedge. Usually that breaks to the upside. In my experience, say 60-70% of time, this breaks to the upside, and if it has to do that, it should be moving around this area, which is 0.265, 0.27, and then give a break to the upside. If not, if it is moving within this range, expect it to move to the downside, then move to the upside and move, that range bound, moving within that trade. Now, if you just zoom in on that one, looking at this pattern on a 3-day, then a daily, then this one, if you zoom in here, this is what you actually see, right? We are getting hammers. That wicked candle, meaning the price actually tried to go to the downside. Sellers pushed the price to the downside, but they were not able to close it there. Why? Buyers came in and bought all the items which they sold, the sellers, right? So it shows a bit of positive momentum. And where are we at that cycle? When we talk about that positiveness, we are at a resistance and buyers are still trying to push up. So if that happens, we are going towards 0.28 in that cycle. Then if you look at that on just horizontal level, you can understand this area was being supported from a long time. Now, if that is the case, then we should be going to this support resistance trend line. Why? From a long term, we've been getting that positive attitude, and again here it's being reinforced. So that should be able to push the price up. So if you go into a hourly chart to understand what really is happening about the price with the recent moving average, meaning the 9 or 20. You can if you want to add, you can use 50, 200, it's up to you, but I prefer using those on a daily or at least 4-hour chart. Now here, if you see, the price is above the moving average, 20-day moving average. So if you want to make it clear, you can use actually Heikin-Ashi chart and see that the price actually pumped above the moving average. MACD is on the positive side. Now these are important when you are looking at the price fluctuations. RSI is pointing to the upside on an hourly chart. So for me, that means on a Heikin-Ashi chart, if this is green, I'll be betting next one is green, next one is green, next one is green. So you kind of get 70 to 75% accuracy. If you take a coin and flip it, you only get 50 by 50, right? But here you get 70 to 75% accuracy when you use Heikin-Ashi chart. And Heikin-Ashi tells me that next one is or should be a green candle. Now waiting for that, we'll actually see that tomorrow, because if you go on a daily chart, we actually get the same. Say change it to green here, and I entered in that candle here. So for me, next candle is green, so this is green. Again, those who are entering here will be looking at next aspect. This one is green, right? The next one. But it gets romantic when the MACD on a daily enters into this zone, which is the positive. If you look back here, you can understand when it was in a negative territory, the pump was limited. But as it entered the positive region, it just got, so volatile, it went to the upside, boom. So we are waiting for that shift here, and the RSI is kind of showing us that from this support resistance area, it may move to the upside as it just broke above that trading range. Is there any questions? I'm confused about what? Did I confuse you guys instead of clarifying something? Sabhi bounces up hard and does what it's intended to. It'll go down on the world's best kept secrets. How can they cover it up so good? Even hard. How to dig deep. Now if any asset goes to the upside, it will come to the downside as well. As I told, I was having a bit of cold, and that sneeze just came from, somewhere, I don't know. Anyway, let's continue where we were looking at. Plan to buy movements. Yes, I agree. The price can be much, much higher than what we all expect to be. And it can actually happen much higher, because no one can actually predict whether the price will actually go to the upside or downside. We don't understand. We can actually look at the price and say it is going to the upside or to the downside, right? It's really hard to actually say that. But what we can do is look at the long-term chart, position yourself in such a way on a weekly or a monthly chart, look at that, and you understand that the market cycle is like this. And then you can align yourself into a position where you are either an investor or a position trader, where you set your position in such a manner that your risk is so low and upside is symmetrical. And that's what we are all looking at, right? We are all looking for profits here. Now, in short term, the price may fluctuate. It may move from one side to another. That's kind of the way how the market actually trends. But that happens when you look at the price in different manner. If you understand what the price is going to do next, you may see the positive trend which is coming out. So that's not a big deal there on a shorter time frame. Congrats on the literature. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for that. Where do you see XRP going? What's your exit strategy? At what price points you'll be taking profit? I think I actually answered that 3-4 times, but again, say I would be taking a small chunk, say 2.5% at previous all-time highs or nearby that, because I expect the price to be volatile at that area, meaning a lot of guys are stuck at 3, 3.5, 3.8, and they would be looking to take their positions out as soon as the price reaches there or somewhere close. So the price may have volatility at that area. So I personally think I should be taking a 2.5% around that area, and then if the price actually gives us a bit more surprise travel to 5, then another 2.5% from the portfolio. 7 point, when the dollar reaches in 7.5 mark for XRP, I'll take 2%, and as it goes I reduce the percentage which I take out, because the amount in dollar or whichever fiat currency you take would be similar to that. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. The biggest gain will come. Yep, I agree with that one. Whole majority for the least. One alternative strategy is to collateralize your XRP holdings, take loans as you need funds, thereby not selling and incurring either personal income. Yeah, in the US case, it can be okay, but if you are not investing huge amount which you don't need tomorrow or the year next year, then you should be okay. That means invest which you can invest. It's not like go sell your car, sell your house and put all your money in your investments, because we are looking at educated investments, right? We are going to take calculated guesses. No one knows where the market would be going, but we are trying to take proper systematic exposure in the market, look at all the different factors, and then decide whether we are going to the upside or to the downside. Now, as what we heard here, these are some of the key aspects which we should understand. The world is actually preparing for something new, and we already understand how it will be going. Why? Because those correspondence, the communication between others is important here. It's financial markets, and it really matters who you know and how you know them, and do they appreciate your works. So for Ripple the company, it does, right? You can see in the picture. In that Swift meeting, Swift guy was trying to joke about the volatility. Brad kind of educated him about the math and asked whether, based on math, volatility is something movement will sustain, and he kind of schooled him there. Then the IMF, BIS, different aspects. This is not only it, but this kind of gives you an idea where Ripple is standing with that one, right? Then this one from Michael. In a late Friday tweet, it actually is highlighted that Central Bank of Bahamas announced that on 28th October it will be gradual national release. So China is going there. Now it's Bahamas. So automatically you see central bank digital currencies being rolled out into the practical domain where normal guys can use that. And we can see as the digitization, tokenization is increasing, still the e-commerce, the trade between one country to another, it all increases. And the competition in that particular landscape is increasing. So that's kind of cool, right? And when you look at the XRP ecosystem and those payment types, you can understand that, say, for example, here, coins.ph, they process the payments, right? And then if you look at different payment areas, you can actually understand AnyPay or BDOS, a lot of different companies which are there for that particular use case. Right? So not only that one, looking at all aspects, there are a lot of different use cases. Everything ends up in payment, because if you are taking a service or a product, you need to pay that, right? And that is where everyone is ending up. Let it be in Europe, let it be in US, this is the case. Now I hope actually you guys understood the point which I was trying to illustrate. Now all of these documents which I showed you guys talks about IntelliJ protocol and how it is connected to one another. and how systematically it has been designed, how it is being adopted, how it is being piloted, how it is being tested. Now, that gives the ability to understand if you are looking at something which is going to fail next day, or you're looking at something which is going to rule the entire payment system in next 5 to 10 years. Based on the researchers and the findings of those research publications, you understand ILP is a standard in which it directly gets connected to XRP ledger, where the internet of value stays, which is XRP and XRP ledger. You can use other assets too in ILP, I agree, but the frictionless experience with that zero to no cost, you can only achieve that with XRP. And if you're using internet of value, that is what you're actually looking at, instead of looking at a BTC or ETH or anything which is being taking a lot of time to process this, right? So these fintechs would be changing the banking sector, financial sector for good. I'll actually link all of these in the description, so if you guys want to read through that, it would really be helpful for you guys. Now always understand, we are at the edge of this cliff and we don't know when we will jump from there. But one thing for sure is, if you jump, it's going to be a rock and roll from here. It's going to be actually a roller coaster for this price. Just the price goes up and the jump from there takes you down. Now let's see if you guys have any questions. I'll try to answer through them, and I'll be ending the live after that. Yeah, sure. I'll actually look at that too for sure. Ginger and lemon for cold, right? Yeah, sure. But before that, I'll actually have to go to the market, buy some fish, for lunch. Otherwise, there would be a knife from my wife in my neck. So let's see. I agree, Charlie. La la la. It's not that sophisticated. Tell them to use Celsius. La la la. Never sell what it is valuable. Blah blah blah. Big banks. And it's a non-profit foundation. Do I get taxed at the point when I sell XRP on exchange? Brother, that depends upon the geographical region where you are. If they consider this as a commodity, as a security, whatever, they would be looking at if you're taking it after 1 year or before 1 year, meaning short-term and long-term capital gains. It's kind of looks like that for tax purpose. So if you are looking at that, if you should minimize that one, the tax, when taking profits, it should be after 1 year, then it should be cool. So in that aspect, as it previously said, you can directly buy anything using your XRP card itself, but still the purchasing power would be low. So in order to maximize your purchasing power and reduce the tax amount which you pay, it would be better to hold or sell positions which you have holded more than 1 year. That would limit the government's taking or sucking your profits outside from you. Guess I agree with these points. I'm satisfied with implementing the strategy with Nexo. So far, the timing is the point of transactions on the exchange. Yep, there are a lot of different networks I actually explained, right? The payment space is so huge and no one single thing is going to handle everything. But there would be something at the base infrastructure on which everything would be working. Now that's actually different, right? Some really hot kimchi should help that cold doc. Let me try. I actually tried a couple of coffees, but now it's 10:30 in the morning, so let's see. I actually woke up a bit early. Watching these documents, you can see how much time it actually took to actually find out all of these, then read the summary, check out what it really means, how it gets interconnected, then look at the price fluctuations to understand these points using different indicators, to understand how buyers and sellers reflected at different price points. It sometimes get more time. It takes a lot of time sometimes. Every time you spend trade any crypto in the US, you have to keep a track. Yeah, in the US, I kind of agree. Even if you're spending a minute amount, they would be tracking you. So you have to actually keep account for that. Now, most of the exchanges would allow you to hold that kind of details. Now, let's see if we have limited questions here. Then I think it's okay for me to jump back in and move off. So I hope there is no more questions here. So let me try to take something hot and then move out, do my things on Sunday. Hope you guys doesn't actually have more questions here. So cheers. So I'll actually put all of these in the description, not the charts, but the information which I actually showed you, which would actually be cool for you guys to read through, which would increase your the guesses or calculated guesses which you take on the chart is based on the positivity from your side. And if you actually have that positivity, it would give you kind of say 80 to 90% accuracy for all of those positions you take on, right? If you were buying a position here, the price would be depreciating. Instead, if you're buying something at the support, the probability is high that you would be getting profit in next couple of days or a week. And that's what we are looking at, right? So these documents will help you to give those positivity, and which would in turn reflect in the calculated guesses you take on your trade or investment for increasing your portfolio. Okay guys, so I think that's all for today, and I'll meet you guys on the next video. I'll try to make it short in the next video and give you guys maximum information for that time too. There's a question. Do you think we might be surprised by parabolic run this year? Brother, saying that would be, with what I understand, I'll just say there would be a parabolic run as per what we are looking at here, and that's what I actually showed you guys in the initial stage, right? We are looking at this as a rounded bottom, and I showed you Lent, which did that rounded bottom here and went parabolic from that. You can't even say parabolic, it was like a mad FOMO there, right? It went sky high from there, boom, from the bottom. Now, if the same or something even huge is repeating here on XRP, it would not only be parabolic, it would be madness. Because if you look at previous history of price fluctuation, for XRP, it was not parabolic, it was like to the sky, to the moon kind of effect. And that's where we say to the moon, right? It was not that parabolic. At the initial stage, it was a bit of parabolic, but then it turned completely into madness. So that's what we are looking at here. But for that, first we have to breach this area. After breaching this area, the measured bottom would be say 110%. Yeah, around 110%. And that 110% from there would be taking us above all of these overhead resistance, from which the buyers would be jumping in. Now at that time, you may see other assets which already went to the upside like these drop, because people would be thinking about taking profit from an asset which hasn't appreciated much in price and put that into an asset like XRP. So that is going to have a kind of, debate, the gambling kind of effect for those who are not educated well. Yeah, hope that answers that one. So guys, okay, I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.